Good morning. I see you've returned to my kitchen. Thank you for coming back. This morning, I'm going to plow into still finishing up with these peaches that I have. I still have several more to work with. And I'll get through it, I really will. But what I wanted to show you today is a really simple, easy little way to can peaches and make some jam. And that's what I'm going to make. Over the years, I've made a lot of different jams. I really have. Of course, my favorite is my raspberry jam that I had lots of raspberry bushes, and I took advantage of it by making my jam. The difference between jam and jelly, some have asked me. Well, a jelly, you're going to use the liquid part instead of all of the fruit. It's going to be more of the juices. Whereas a jam, you're getting the whole fruit plus the juices, but you're getting the whole fruit. If you were to ask which is healthier to eat, I would have to say the jam, because you are eating fruit, not just the juices. So I took last night and I cleaned most of my jars. I get my jars all over, whether I go to, a yard sale or an estate sale. I like to find the box that's way back over there in the corner that, has maybe cobwebs all on it, or it's dirty, or, the kids decide, oh, mom used to can, but she doesn't do that anymore, or she's passed away, and what do we do with all these canning jars? Well, I buy them. And I've gotten some different ones over the years. I really have. I have shown you the one that I really like that I made my salsa in was this style of a little, these are ball mason jars. And I like to use, and probably will today when I make my peach jam, that's this size right here. These are just little pint size, and I like them a lot. These are very popular, that you can get this style. And just a plain jar of any kind. These are the Kerr, Kerr canning jars. You can do little tiny ones, from this size to really small, which I don't really like to do. When I get jam out of the cupboard or the refrigerator, I like to have a good amount. I don't want a little tiny skimpy little amount because it doesn't go very far. One year I found these particular jars. Now these are very antique in the size. I have them in two different shapes. This is more of a square shape, and then this shape. And any lid that you have, or if you want to go buy more lids and the bands, they sell them in a box with all the canning supplies that you would put the lid and then the band on any jar, and that's great. So I may use between this and this today. I really will, but I kind of wanted to show you the difference of the different jars for pretty much jam. You don't want a great big canning jar for jam because you're not going to use it up as much unless you like a lot of jam or jelly. So, and then I like to, these were the blue ones that I like also. But remember, whatever you put in here food-wise, it's going to be a different color once it's this pretty blue. And when I made my peach salsa, it was really kind of funny. My son and his girlfriend stopped by, and I was going to give them two jars of my peach salsa, but they took off and forgot them. But my son says, well, why is that one looking green, Mom? What happened to that? I said, it's the color of the jar. And it is, but these are pretty. Once you get done with them, you can use it for all kinds of things in your house. So those are the canning jars. Another thing I want to talk about is when you're canning jam or jelly, but I'm going to be doing the jam. I'm doing mine a really easy, fast way. I have now a machine that does all the work for me. I used to can the old-fashioned way, and I mean clear back to grandmother's, great-grandmother's time, pioneers, that they would put the paraffin wax on top to seal their jars. I don't do that anymore. I found a little helper, and this is my little helper right here. This little machine right here. Now this is from the Ball Company, and it's called Fresh Tech Automatic Jam and Jelly Maker. And the first time I saw this, I thought, well, I wonder, will it take out the work and do everything for me like what it says it will? Yes, it does. Inside the little pan is this little turning wheel, and it does all the work for me. It's fast, it's easy, there is no hard work to this, and this is what I'm going to be using today. I ordered this many years ago on Amazon. Don't try to find it now because it's unavailable. You can still buy it through the Ball Company, but this is what it looks like, and I highly recommend it. If you can find one of these at a reasonable price, then I highly recommend that you get it to do any kind of jam or jelly or whatever you're doing, because this thing works great. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pause my video and I'm going to start cutting up all of my peaches to make on this recipe. My recipe calls for 2 2/3 cup crushed pineapple. I don't know why I had that on my brain. Peaches, and that's what I'm going to do. I will skin these and I will cut them small enough for what I want in my machine. So I will be back to show you the next step of how easy this is to can some peaches. So hang on. Okay, I'm back to show you the process of how to use this nice little machine. So I have cut up my peaches now. You're gonna require 2 2/3 cup of peaches, kind of just crushed up into little bite size like this. To start with that. So the very first thing that you're going to do is, yes, we're going to use some pectin. Don't be afraid of it. We're jamming. We're not rocking and rolling, but we're going to jam today. And we have to use pectin to jam. This is a real fruit pectin. I like to buy this one over the box kind. I just find it easier. And my recipe for this jam calls for 3 tablespoons of the pectin. So you just want to take the powdered pectin here, get even amounts, and you just want to sprinkle that down in this pot. That's 1, 2, and 3. That was pretty easy, wasn't it? Not too hard to do that part. Then you're going to take your peaches and you're going to place them in the pot pretty evenly across all the way around the pot. That is 2 2/3 cup of the peaches. And just make them go around in the pot. Then it calls for 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, and I just buy it in these containers. I really do. So 2 tablespoons of the lemon juice. Again, just kind of put it evenly on it, around the pot. 2. That's your ingredients for that part. And then it calls for, excuse me, a 1/2 teaspoon of butter. And I always like to use just soft butter that I will just take a 1/2 teaspoon. You can level it off if you want to. It doesn't really have to be precise in here. And you're just going to put that in. Okay? Now here's the fun part about this little machine. So after you have got your pectin in, your peaches in, and the lemon juice and the butter, now we need to turn the machine on. So I press the button that says jam right down here, and it'll default for the 21 minutes. Then I press enter. And that makes this little stir go around and around and around. It also is getting this pot hot. So I'm going to put the lid on, and then I'm going to wait 4 little minutes, and it will make 4 little beeping sounds. So you want to be within earshot of listening to this, because when you get to the 4 beeps, that's when we're going to add 3 1/3 cup of sugar. You have to have sugar for jam. Make it sweet, nice. So we will wait for that. I had a comment the other day. I thought it was really kind of touching to me that a really good friend of mine says that she's enjoying my little videos, and I thank her for that. But she went on to say that, she says, Diane, it's like pulling up a chair to your counter and just sitting there and, you know, listening to you talk and watching you make something or bake something right there in your own kitchen. And I thought that was really nice of her to say. Well, thank you for feeling comfortable that you're in my kitchen, even though you're far, far away. But you are in my kitchen, and I'm showing you how to either bake something, cook something, fry something, whatever it is. Today, we're jamming today. So I'm going to come back in 4 minutes when this beeps, and I'm ready to put the sugar in. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back again. My beeps have done 4 little beeps, and now I'm going to add the sugar all into this. Then I'm going to place the lid back on the pot, and there's a little clock down here. It says now 17. It starts out at 21 minutes. It's going to take only 21 minutes. Now I'm at 17. When it's done, it will beep again to tell me that it's done, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do at that stage. So I'll be back in 17 minutes. I'm back again. We have about 2 minutes left to go on our little jam making machine here. And it's just going around and around with its little stirrer in there. It's bubbling, it's hot, just as if you were over at the stove cooking your jam yourself the old-fashioned way. But I don't have to do that anymore. I don't. This took all the work out of making jam or jelly. You still have to get your jars clean. You do. You have to boil them and sterilize them and get those clean, which I'm kind of a stickler on that I really, you know, give them a good scrubbing in the sink with soap and water and rinsed well before I ever put them in the big pot and boil them to get them all sterilized. And so I'm going to start, like I said, with these particular jars, and then I think I'm going to move on over to the little cute ones today. I really am. So now we have 1 minute to go. 1 little minute. It took 6 of my peaches, these nice little peaches, it took 6 of them to get to the 2 2/3 cup of the crushed peaches. And that's okay. That's all right. That's not really that many peaches. It really isn't. So just a little bit more here. And got my little poor dog. We think he's about 15 or 16 years old. It's the one I adopted, little buddy, little Chiweenie dog. And oh, there's the beeps right now. Okay, so the next thing you want to do after it has beeped is you want to cancel. You want to take the lid off. Lid comes off. And then I take a hot pad, because this is hot, and I lift that stirrer right out of there. Right on out of there. And now I'm going to use this particular one, not my plastic one, because this is hot syrup. I did forget my ladle, so I'll grab that right quick. Any ladle will work. Whether I'm using that great big red one or a small one like this. And now you just want to start taking your jam of all those nice peaches and put right down in your jar. You can add, in fact, I think I will my next batch. If you want to jazz it up just a little bit, you can add just a little touch of lemon, would be nice in here. And again, you only want to come in your jar just enough up here, leaving a good 1/4 inch. That's pretty good for that jar. Now you're going to go to the next jar. And these are very, very hot jars. Or the syrup part is, anyway. The jar would be hot if I had sterilized it and brought it right out like I did with my peach salsa. You want to go slow with this because the peach salsa was hot, but this with the sugar is extremely hot. You will burn yourself if you aren't careful. You really will. Okay, that takes care of that one. Then again, what I like to do is I like to take a nice clean cloth and I just go along the rim to get it wet. And then I will add my lid. These particular ones are bigger ones. So I'll add my lid and then the little canning band to the jar. And sometimes you have to hold it with the nice rag because these are hot. Get that down tight. Tight on your jar. Now, this is another, leave it alone, let it set, leave it alone. In a little while, when it starts to cool down, you're gonna hear a little pop, a little lid that's gonna pop. And that pop, it's gonna go down, go down. Sometimes you can push them down like I just did that one, or like this one's still up, but it's gonna do it on its own. It's going to sink down and it's going to seal it even more. The rest of the remaining that I have in here, I actually can take and put in the, see, just did it. Just did a little pop, and that sealed it down. So I like to take this now, I'll set this on a hot pad to get the remaining. Get my little in here. I still have some in here. The last little bit of all those nice peaches. This will be really good. I like English breakfast of the English toast in the morning. And this is going to be really tasty on it. It really is. Okay, just enough up there. I also take this pan and the little stirrer that I will take and take over to my kitchen sink. And I will wash it very well. And for the next batch, I don't like to start a new one until I have washed this one very, very well. It also allows for this hot plate, because it's kind of what it is, it's a hot plate, and it allows it to cool down so that you can start your next batch. Now, wasn't that simple? No old-fashioned anything. So I've got 2.5 of the little jars now of my peach jam, and I'm set to go to get a lot more of these peaches taken care of, because if you don't, then they're going to go bad on me. I can only eat so many peaches. I took my streusel peach muffins over to my son and his girlfriend last night, and apparently that was a hit. She really enjoyed them. So that was good, because I don't always eat everything that I cook. That was another friend that says, where does all that food go? She couldn't possibly eat all that by herself. No, I do not. I might take a little sample bite or whatever, but most of the time I'm either giving it away, or sometimes I freeze it, wait for my husband to come home and we enjoy it. Now, that's another thing with these. Once they're set and done, that you've put them up for the year, you can, they're going to keep for a whole year just fine. You can freeze this, give them away to people, that like jam. But that is my let's jam today on jamming with my peach jam, of how easy it is with this particular machine that, like I said, is from the Ball Canning Company, and it's called Ball Fresh Tech Automatic Jam and Jelly Maker. And I just love the machine. I really do. I won't make jam without this machine. So I hope you've enjoyed my little video. I'm on to doing more jam this afternoon and maybe a little yard work. I see that my sprinkler has gotten my window all dirty, so I'll be washing windows today also. So I've got kind of a full day ahead of me, but I wanted to share how easy it was to can some peaches and have them for a long time, you know, to enjoy. So from my kitchen to yours, have a great afternoon. I'll catch you later. You never know what I'm gonna do in my kitchen, do you? Bye-bye now.